God, awake to deeds unseen in sinful New Orleans, where many poor things run needles through kins. Oh God, you know I'm one. There is a man in New Orleans they call the darkest sun. He seizes your soul and swallows it whole. Oh God, they're gone. The flood will come and take the whole of New Orleans. Then she will rise and turn the earth, turn it inside out.
Hello? Hello?
Looks abandoned.
It can't be. There has to be someone around.
Wait here. I'll go around back.
Desetto, the old plantation building, was ready to fall, but kept alive by some starry-eyed carpetbagger called Dr. Gray. Seeing how the staff couldn't even be bothered with answering the door, Detective Carnby figured they would just head inside and grab Jeremy. He just needed to open the front door for Emily first, so she could talk to her uncle.
Hello and welcome to the developer commentary for Alone in the Dark. My name is Mikael Hedberg and I'm the creative director. You just watched the intro to our game and it contains a lot of things that you can see harkens back to original from 1992. This is sort of a common way for us to proceed. You will notice that going forward, while hearing more of this commentary, that we often start out with something that we found in the original. And then we put a little spin on it. And the most obvious one in the intro is the frog trying to cross the road. In the original, it just crosses the road and it narrowly escapes the car, but in our game, it gets caught by an alligator and eaten. that pretty much sums up how we treated the original.
It's too dark in here. I can't see anything. Now what do we got here?
Louisiana State Board of Private Investigator Examiners grants the following license to Edward Carnby, Decatur Street, New Orleans. License number 196692-LA. Good until May 15th, 1930.
Carnby, why am I hearing from Gloria Allen that you got some job at the loony bin? You better not be thinking of paying her off before me. I don't want to take you for a ride, so get me my money. I'll be at the Maccabean all night if you score some dough. Obed Morton.
Hello, my name is Rickard Ryberg. I'm the art director for Alone in the Dark. Welcome to Dersero. Our version of Dersero is inspired by an old plantation, Belgrove, in Louisiana. Unfortunately, it's not standing today, but it uses a mix of Greek revival and Italian architectural style. And if you look closely here in the kitchen garden, you might spot some of it.
Hello everyone, I'm Frederick Reynolds, the creator of the first Alone in the Dark in 1992, and I'm so delighted to see again Derceto, and especially in this new state.
That's one big tree to fit inside a conservatory. Huh? What?
Inside the conservatory, we get our first taste for one of our main themes in the game, which is man versus nature, or human psyche versus nature. It's presented with this kind of on-the-nose metaphor of a giant tree kept inside a metal steel cage, which is this conservatory. You will find more of this theme throughout the game, but nowhere is it ever as on-the-nose as it is here.
Don't mind if I do.
So now we're properly inside Derceto. And since this is the start of the game, we don't have our character set up yet properly. So we don't have anything good or bad. We don't have any suspicion on anyone. So we wanted to play on the idea of it might not be a great idea to just break in somewhere. So both Emily and Edward are supposed to be normal people, and you don't normally go around breaking into places that you're not allowed. So here we try to keep a little bit of that tension and maybe keep the normality while exploring the start of Derceto.
Every day your silence weighs a little heavier. It's been a
So in Mag's room, we find her family Bible, where she's made a few notes. We find out she has a complex relationship to faith, and it involves Christianity and also some exploration of voodoo, which is, of course, an interesting and colorful piece or theme for New Orleans. So we definitely wanted to include that. Here we find her searching for meaning, but also a way out. She, of course, is working from the background of living through the Depression and the Dust Bowl in the United States. So this is our first taste for other faiths and even the seed for the cult that she will eventually become a part of.
When the player first arrive at the Derceto, it's late sunset and the sun is setting. We chose this time of day because we wanted to use thick God rays through almost each window to emphasize the atmosphere, and also what we were after was to really convey the warmth and the sweaty atmosphere from the deep southern.
Oh, and there is some rats here just for the atmosphere. In the original game, when you see a 3D character in the game, it was meant for something. So I thought this one also could attack me. But yeah, that's good that it is only for the atmosphere.
I need the key. That's it.
I like the fact that you start the game from the first floor, which seems so more natural than what I did for the first version, because as I wanted the player just get out of the house, I needed to set it in another location, so that's why we started from the attic. But in this version, it sounds so more natural.
Please do not touch the boiler.
There's something missing. Nice.
Sunday, June 22nd.
Lottie's room is probably the first room where we properly see how much the design of the room itself tells you about the character. We clearly see that Lottie is a part of the staff. She has her dress up. She doesn't have too many frivolous things. She's quite a serious person. And it also leans in and tells us a little bit about how and who she might be even before we have met her.
It's wedged shut. Looks important. Oh. I need the key.
The Great Depression. President Hoover raises tariffs on over...
I need the key.
We speculated for a while if we wanted the player to be able to move into the waiting hall already in the first chapter, but we actually went for it for a very specific reason, is that we wanted to show the player more about what kind of place they were in. We had been exploring a few of the staff's room and the corridors in the conservatory, but this is where we actually get into the proper asylum stuff. But in the same way, we want to show that it isn't an asylum with chains or crazy things going on. It's more of a countryside resort almost, where rich people try to recoup.
Thanks.
What are you doing? Who are you?
Whoa, pardon me, excuse me. My name is Edward Carnby, private investigator. I hope you don't mind we let ourselves inside.
I do mind. This is private property. You can't just barge in here.
I'm sorry about all this, but I'm looking for my uncle. It's urgent, and no one was answering the door.
We can't hear you knocking anymore. None of us can. Who is your uncle, darling?
Jeremy. Am I right? She has that Heartwood gloom, doesn't she?
That's right. I'm Emily Hartwood. I just came to make sure my uncle is all right.
Well, he is unavailable right now. You will have to come back another day.
Unavailable? How? Is he sleeping? We can wait.
He's lost.
Don't I know you from somewhere?
Who's your man again, Miss Hartwood?
My name's Edward Carnby, private investigator.
Splendid.
Enough! All of you, get back to your rooms. McCarthy, keep your eyes on the child. And you two, please leave immediately.
Look, we're not here to cause any trouble. Just let us see the old man, satisfy the curiosity of my client here, and we'll be off.
Jeremy has gone missing. There's no need to worry, but it might be some time before he turns up. The whole staff is looking for him.
What? He ran off?
I don't have time for any of this. Please, come back tomorrow.
All right, in that case, we'll just wait in his room. You don't mind, do you? It's upstairs, right?
Wait, you can't.
Don't worry, we'll be discreet.
In the corridor. It's the first door on your left. I'll tell Dr. Gray you're here.
Excellent. Thank you, madam. All right, here we are.
Let's look around. See if we can dig up any clues.
Here we are in Jeremy Hartwood's room, and it's interesting to note that in the original game, he was the catalyst for the whole story to happen. The idea that he commits suicide by hanging himself in the attic is why we're playing the original game. Again, for our version, we wanted to see what if he doesn't kill himself and how would that change things. And if you play the game, you understand that it changes it maybe a little bit more than you would have thought, but that's one of the main premises of how we approached this sort of love letter to the original.
Here in Jeremy's room, you can see a lot of paintings and sculptures, which is made by Jeremy himself. Him being a kind of a madman, we tried to picture it through the theme of the room as well, mixing these geometric shapes and general chaos. And also a fun note is also the use of dark ebony throughout the room, which is symbolic for the darkness within and dark man as well.
Anything important I should look out for? Did he keep a diary?
Not that I know of, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Quite the artist, your uncle. Paintings, sculptures. I don't know much about modern art, but he seems dedicated.
Jeremy is a fairly well-known landscape painter in New Orleans. You've probably seen more of his work than you realize.
We should go talk to the doctor that the housekeeper mentioned.
Dr. Gray? I suppose. Let's just do a little more digging first, okay?
Sure, no rush.
Every night the dark man stands opaque at the threshold of my room.
I found a book full of peculiar notes. Have you heard of something called Tarawea?
No. What's that?
I might be reading too much into this, but I think it's the place he wants to go to.
Oh, okay. Sounds like a clue.
Hey, you know anything about this? Looks like some sort of talisman.
No, I don't. Oh, help me out here, will you?
I would kill the guy to throw some of this stuff out. I'd be crazy too if I had this much junk lying around.
Oh, wow. That's striking. I want to save this one. All right, come on. I want to go see Dr. Gray. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, I'm coming. Miss Hartwood. Emily? What the hell is going on? Where am I?
Detective Carnby couldn't believe his eyes. The French Quarter scene before him was dark and sinister. The only sign of life he could see from Jeremy's balcony was the light coming from a lone corner store. Jeremy had gone missing. The housekeeper said the staff at Derceto was looking for him, and that Detective Carnby and Emily should come back tomorrow. Hoping to wrap up this case before leaving, Carnby hustled his way inside Jeremy's room, leaving the housekeeper flustered and running for Dr. Gray, the chief of Derceto. Having bought some time, this was the perfect opportunity to look for clues regarding Jeremy's disappearance.
Can't go that way.
For the French Quarter, we try to incorporate aspects from liminal spaces to get a more creepy feel without it being destroyed or too much worn down, because we wanted to portray some colorful quarters from New Orleans. So yeah, I hope you find it creepy.
What the hell is going on?
Let them get inside, Carnby. They're not the good kind.
Are you... Is this your store?
There are no owners here. We both strangers in Jeremy's story.
Jeremy did this. How?
The pact with the dog man. Jeremy warned us, but we didn't think much of it.
I'm Detective Edward Carnby. I was hired by Jeremy's niece to find him.
Oh, yeah? How much she paying you?
$150.
She's sure getting her money's worth tonight. Are you a thinking man, Carnby?
No, not if I can help it.
You know, I think Jeremy's hiding in a way we can't find him. He has this juju necklace that guides him.
The talisman?
That's right. It's some magic charm he got from Miss Jackson down the street.
The voodoo priestess?
You know surprising things, Carnby. Yeah, the Mama Loa. Here, take the key. I locked the gate to save her place from all the ghouls and goblins getting inside. Maybe if you go there, you can find some clues to show you the way.
Thanks. I'll have a look.
Detective Carnby hesitated to buy into the stranger's explanation, but it was all he had. Baptiste, this mountain of a man, seemed to suggest that this other world they had been pulled into was built from Jeremy's scattered memories. It sounded crazy to him, but Carnby couldn't exactly deny the situation he found himself in. Baptiste believed Jeremy was able to move freely between worlds using a talisman he got from Miss Jackson, a voodoo witch doctor that made a good living from alleviating the rich from their ailments and their money. In hope to find Jeremy, or a way back to Deseto, Carnby set out to investigate Miss Jackson's place.
You want to come along?
Nah, I'm gonna stay here for a while.
Anything I can do for... Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Baptiste, just tell my sister Lottie I'm alright if you see her.
All right, I'm heading out.
Be careful out there.
I can't go that way.
My weapon broke.
Gotta find more bullets.
I always wanted to incorporate more of voodoo culture because I think it's a really exciting element that's related to New Orleans and, of course, the Caribbean. And we see a little bit of that here. We find a courtyard decorated on the basis of voodoo temples. Mainly the most recognizable part is the veve, this sort of pattern that they use. Yeah, I think it was an exciting element that I wish we could have worked even more with.
I recognize this place. It's Miss Jackson's seance park.
He recognized this place. It was Miss Jackson's seance room. The last time he was here, he had been trying to figure out the significance of wasps' nests and horsehair wrapped up in red silk. An image of a dead woman stabbed with hatpins flashed inside his mind. Carnby shuddered. This was no time to dwell on the past. He needed to find out about the talisman and get back to Derceto.
We knew early on that we wanted to make something special with the talisman to both pay homage to the original game, but also to get a cool item for the player to. It ends up being a way to open up gates to other worlds. Our talisman looks quite different. It's updated, but we still kept a lot of the design of the original for an item called the toy talisman that you can find later in the game as well. That is used to activate hidden ending.
Remember the toad in the beginning? The one getting eaten by an alligator? That would be Miss Jackson's toad, which got lost.
Miss Jackson's seance room is the oldest surviving room in the production. It was a part of what was called a proof of concept that was done during 2019. And I think it's a neat place, but for us developers, it's probably more dear than to the regular player.
It's the talisman, like the one in the painting.
Oh, I recognize this talisman. We had almost the same in the first version of the game. And this talisman is quite a special item because it is animated. Not all items you can find were animated, but this one was special because you need it at the end of the game to defeat the sorcerer. That's what he got this special treatment.
Remember the toad in the beginning? The one getting eaten by an alligator? That would be Miss Jackson's toad, which got lost.
I think it's meant for the talisman. I think it needs numbers, like coordinates. Maybe there's something in Jeremy's notes. It's showing something. A place? Where is that? Huh.
Detective, I was wondering when you were going to show up. Mrs. Thompson told me you were here. I understand you are working for Jeremy Hartwood's niece.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you're not wrong. We came here for her uncle. I didn't expect this. You are Dr. Gray, right?
That's right. You don't happen to have some identification, Detective. I'm not keen on having strangers prying into my business. Oh, Detective Edward Carnby, Decatur Street, New Orleans. Enjoying the Vieux Carré, Detective? Those old French quarters, the voodoo people, the gangsters. I'm sure you live an exciting life.
Well, it's not quite like the stories, Doc. Just trying to make a living.
Aren't we all making a living? Well, welcome to Deseto, Detective. I hope your time here will be useful. Now, what can I do for you?
Why don't you tell me where I can find Jeremy Hartwood?
Why wouldn't that make for a short visit? I wish I could tell you, but I'm afraid I don't know. A drink, Detective?
Anything brandy.
Oh, you do belong in the French quarters, Detective. Armagnac or cognac?
You know, just give me the cheap stuff. I'm not much of a connoisseur.
Having low standards is not a virtue, Detective. Let me see if I can broaden your perspective.
What can you tell me about Jeremy?
I wouldn't want to go into details about his condition. Doctor-patient confidentiality. I'm sure you understand.
Sure, but he is crazy, and he's gone missing. Why?
Here,
try this.
Ooh, it's good. Got a bite?
It's called a sidecar. The trick is not to be afraid of the tartness of the lemon. And for goodness sake, don't overdo the triple sec.
Okay, what can you tell me about Jeremy?
Well, let me think. He is an anxious man, constantly worried about events not presenting themselves according to his model of predestination. He complains about things not being carried out in the right order, and that some things simply shouldn't be. Is any of this helpful to you?
Not really. I was hoping for some direction where to look next.
I'm sorry. I have nothing for you then. You should talk to my orderlies. They have been looking for him for a while now. I'm sure they would appreciate your help.
Yeah, I ran into Batiste earlier. Come to think of it, he might have given me a lead.
Oh, excellent. So your investigation is already underway.
I'm gonna go, but I'm sure we'll meet again.
Looking forward to it. Safe returns.
Detective Carnby, where did you go?
I was just talking to Dr. Gray.
You disappeared.
No, it's not what you think. Have you found anything strange going on here?
Yes. Everyone is being incredibly evasive and I can't figure out why.
No, I mean something you can't explain. Paranormal, even.
Detective, I really need you to get yourself together. I can't do this alone.
Forget it. I'll figure it out.
Do you want to come see Dr. Gray?
No, I want to try something. With this talisman, I think I can follow Jeremy to the place he mentioned in the book. What was the name? Do you remember something Spanish? Tarawea. Yeah, that's where I need to go.
Detective, are you gonna be all right?
Yeah, of course. Go talk to Dr. Gray. We'll rendezvous later. This talisman brought me back from the French Quarter in the blink of an eye. If Jeremy can travel so easily, then he could be hiding anywhere, even Tarawea. If he can do it, so can I. I just need to figure out how the talisman works.